So this will be the second part of section 1.7. There's going to be a third. And in this part, we're going to work with two circle Venn diagrams. Unfortunately, we're going to have to create a Venn diagram from a word problem and then answer questions. In the last few problems, we were given a Venn diagram and we had to answer questions. In this section, we are going to have to create this part of the video. We're going to have to actually create the Venn diagrams and then answer the questions. And every single problem that we're going to do has exactly the same trick. I'm going to give you some information about whatever, what club students are in or what languages they're taking. I'm going to ask you to fill out the Venn diagram. And I'm going to give you a bunch of numbers. It's going to be the case in this problem when we have to create our own Venn diagrams. If you don't follow the order that I give you exactly, you're going to just do horrible things and get the answer wrong. So when we're creating a two-circle Venn diagram to model some word problem, it's 100% going to be the case that you better get your numbers in exactly this order. First, you're going to do region 2, then you're going to do region 1, then you're going to do region 3, and then you're going to do region 4. Even worse than this, the number that goes in will either be given or I'm going to have to subtract before I put that number in. And for region 2, when I go to create a Venn diagram to model a word problem, that number that I'm going to put in is going to be given in the problem. But for region 1, 3, and 4, it won't be given, and I'm going to have to subtract. This doesn't make sense right now, but I'm going to keep flashing this up to kind of, and it will start to make sense. But I just kind of needed to say it just to get it out of my mind so I could have it to refer to. So let's do an example of this, and we're going to create a Venn diagram. So there's a school that has 320 students. 85 of the students are in the band. 200 students are in a sports team, and 60 students participate in both activities. For most of these word problems, if you take the numbers that were given right here, 85 students in a band, 200 students on a sports team, and 60 students in both, if you add those up, that adds up to more students that are in the school. This is generally going to happen. These Venn diagram word problems are intentionally tricky, and the numbers that are given won't all go in the Venn diagram exactly how they're given, and some of them will need some subtraction. And let me try to create a Venn diagram to describe how these students, how they participate or don't participate. Certainly in a school of 320 students, not every single student is going to be in the band or on a sports team. Most students aren't going to do either of those. And let me try to help you get this Venn diagram, which is part A here. So I'm going to create a Venn diagram with two circles. Reason, because there's two clubs. So I'm going to create a Venn diagram to fill in the students that are on the band and the students that are playing sports. And the only number that I'm going to put in, how it's given, is the number in region 2. And that's the number I'm going to put in first. And the number I'm going to put in is the number in region 2. And the numbers in region 2 are the students that are on the band and playing sports. That's these 60 students that participate in both activities. So done with region 2. The next thing I'm supposed to do is get region 1, and I have to subtract to get that number. And it's real easy to do, but it's not intuitive. So I'm going to get this region 1, which is the students that are on the band but not playing sports teams. And to get this number, I'm going to take the 85 students that are on the band or in the band and subtract the 60 students that are doing both activities. The difference between those numbers, which is 25, gives me the students that are only in the band. Because now if I look at the band circle, there's 85 students in the band, and there they are. There's 25 students that are on the band but don't play sports. There's 60 students in the band and that play sports. So the 85 students that are in the band are broken up into two categories, and I wouldn't know what the two categories were unless I subtracted. Now I'm going to move on to region 3, which is this region here, and I have to subtract again. So now I'm looking at the sports circle, so I'm going to move to the sports. There were 200 students on a sports team. I have to subtract the 60 that I've already counted. I've counted 60 of these 200 students already because they're on the sports team and the band, and the difference is going to be 140. When I look at these two numbers right here now, if I just look at the sports circle, there's 60 plus 140, there's 200 students on the sports playing sports, because the two numbers in the sports circle give me all the students that are on sports teams. There's all 200 of them. Now I want to get lastly region 4. So I did region 2, which was given, region 1, which I had to subtract, region 3, which I had to subtract, and region 4, which I'll have to subtract. It's even a little more complicated. For region 4, the numbers in my circles need to add up to the 320 students in the school, but the numbers in my circles so far, if I add them up, 25 plus 60 plus 140, right now if I add those up, I've taken into account 225 students in a school of 320 students. So there were 225 students that were on the band or on the sports. The difference between the 225 students that I've already counted for and the 320 students in the school, there's my subtraction, is going to be the students that aren't on either team. And I get 95 for that. And that is going to go in my region 4. And for region 4, it's anywhere outside the circles. I can throw it over here, it doesn't matter. So this would be the Venn diagram that I'm going to use for this problem. Now let me answer some questions about it. First question, how many students weren't in either? Well, that's the 95 right there. That's a freebie. Second question, how many students were in band or sports? Well, then I add up all the numbers. For the ors, I add up all the numbers in either of the circles. So for part C, I'm adding up the 25 in the band only, the 60 in both, and the 140 in sports, and I think that adds up to 225. So for any time we have an or question, we add up all the numbers in any circle with that name. And lastly, how many were in the band but not sports? That's those 25 right there. Those 25, they're part of the band circle, they're outside the sports circle. All right, so that's an example. I don't know if we're ready to do problems yet or not, or I have something more horrible planned. Oh, now I have a lovely 3-circle Venn diagram. I'm going to hold off on that till I do the second part of the video. So I think I'm going to start jumping into some problems right now and not do a 3-circle Venn diagram. I'm skipping all through my work because it's so long. Let's start doing some word problems. And I'm going to do problem 6, and maybe, better yet, let me do problem 7 with you. It's a lovely 2-circle Venn diagram, and just to get you going. So I give you some information. We have a veterinarian surveyed 26 of his customers, his patrons. 14 of them have dogs, 10 of them have cats, 8 have both. If you add up this, 14 that have dogs plus 10 that have cats, that's 24, plus 8 that has both, that's 32 people, and there's only 26 surveyed. So I know there's issues going on here where I'm going to have to subtract as I create my Venn diagram. So for part A of number 7, I'm going to create a Venn diagram to model the situation. It's going to be a 2-circle Venn diagram because I'm talking about 2 different pets. So I'm going to make a circle for dogs, wrote it first because dogs were mentioned first, and then cats wrote it second because those are mentioned second. Now I'm going to fill up my Venn diagram. First I'm going to do region 2. That's a number that's given, and in region 2, that's that region right there. That's part of the dog circle. That's part of the cat circle. These 8 right here are going to go, that number is going to go in region 2 as the 8 patrons that had both dogs and cats. Next, I'm going to do region 1, and I'm going to subtract. So for region 1, it's part of the dog circle. I'm going to take the 14 patrons that have dogs, subtract the 8 of them that already have cats. The difference between 14 and 8 is 6, and this is how the dog circle is going to look. There's 14 people that had dogs, 6 that had dogs and not cats, 8 that had both. If you add up those two numbers, there's the 14 that have dogs, broken into the categories having dogs but not cats and having both. Next thing I'm going to do is region 3, and I'm going to subtract. For region 3, that's this cat, so I'm going to work on that 10 that have cats. I'm going to subtract the 8 that's already part of the cat circle, and I'm going to get 2. So that 2 is going to separate the cat owners into 8 of the owners have both dogs and cats, 2 have cats but not dogs. So I did region 2, region 1, region 3. Last I'm going to do region 4, and for region 4 I need to subtract again. And what do I have to subtract? Well, all 4 numbers of the regions have to add up to 26. The numbers that I have in my Venn diagram so far, 6 plus 8 plus 2, if I add them up, I have 16 of the 26 customers categorized. The rest of the customers didn't have a dog and they didn't have a cat. So the difference between the 26 total patrons and the 16 that I've counted for is 10. That's 10 that maybe have horses or whatever, guinea pigs, hamsters, or whatever they might have. So that's a Venn diagram for this scenario. Let's do part B. How many had cats or dogs? Always for the ors, you add up any numbers in either of the circles. So I'm going to add up the 6, the 8, and the 2 for this. And that adds up to 16. Part C, how many had dogs but not cats? So you need to be in the dog circle, but you can't be part of the cat circle. That's just going to be those 6 out there. They're the 6 that have dogs, and not counting those 8 that also have cats. And then how many didn't have either? That's just those 10 outside the world there. All right, kind of looking what I have left here. Let me flash your problem 9 up, along with an answer to number 9, just so if you want to pause the video and give it a go. Here is the Venn diagram for number 9, and those are the answers I got for number 9. So you might want to give that a try. If you're not ready to do number 9 yet, I'll figure out which problem I want to do. Let me do problem 10. If you feel good about these, then don't watch me do problem 10 and fast forward to where I flash problem 11 up. So problem 10, I need to create a Venn diagram and then answer some questions. The questions I'm going to answer are those. First thing I'm going to do is create a Venn diagram for this scenario. 120 people were surveyed by Sam. He found that 70 liked product A, 80 liked product B, 50 liked both. Create a Venn diagram to figure out how we can classify the people that were surveyed into whether they liked product A or they liked product B. So I'll make a circle for liking product A and a circle for liking product B. I start off by filling in region 2, which is from a given number. The given number is the number that liked both. So region 2 is going to have that 50. Next I'm going to do is region 1, and I have to subtract. The number I'm going to subtract is the number that's already in that circle. For region A, I'm going to refer to this 70. I'm going to take the 70 people that liked product A, subtract the 50 that liked both, and that will give me a 20. And if I look at the A circle now, there's 70, 20 plus 50. people that liked product A broken into the two categories. Now I'm going to do region 3, and I'm going to subtract. And region 3 is a B number, so I'm going to take this B number of 80, subtract the 50 that's already in the B circle, and I'm going to get a 30. So if I look at the B circle now, it has 80 different people that liked product B, 30 that only liked B, 50 that liked both A and B. And lastly, I'm going to do region 4. I'm going to subtract again. Before I subtract, I have to add up all the numbers in the circle so far. The numbers in my circles are 20, 50, and 30, and those add up to 100. The difference between the 120 people that were surveyed and the 100 that I've already classified as into liking one or two of the products gives me 20 for region 4 that didn't like any of the products. So there is my answer for part A, creating my Venn diagram. Now I'm going to go to part B. How many liked A or B? I add up all the numbers in either the A or the B circle, so the 20, the 50, and the 30, and I get 100 liking A or B. Part C, how many liked A but didn't like B? That's the lone number here, the non-overlapping part of the A circle, that's 20. And then lastly, how many didn't like either? That's the outside number of 20. All right, so here's your problem 11. Talks about a gym is thinking about adding more equipments. It's considering adding treadmills, which I'll make a T, Stairmasters, which I'll make an S. 150 members were surveyed, and they figured out what people use to help them decide what they want to add to their gym. So I have an answer written down for this. There's creating the Venn diagram, answer the questions about the Venn diagram, and the answer that I came out for question 11 would be that. So hopefully you can pause the video and get that, maybe write that down for an answer. So I'm not going to keep flashing it back, but write that down and try to match that up. Now I'm going to move on and do number 12. If you want to, you can fast forward and go to number 13. So number 12, a drug company is considering making a new toothpaste. They're considering regular and mint. 120 people were surveyed. Some liked regular, some liked mint, some liked both. Create a Venn diagram. So for my Venn diagram, I'm going to make a 2-circle Venn diagram. One circle for the people surveyed that liked the regular. Another one for the people that surveyed the mint. Filling it in. First I do region 2, which is the dead center, which is 35. Then region 1, 3, then 4. For region 1, I take the regular number, subtract the number that's already in that circle, and get 39. For region 3, that's that region there, I take the mint number and subtract the 35 that's already in that circle and get 27. And then region 4, to get region 4, I have to add up the numbers that are already placed, which is 111. And subtract that from the total number. The difference between the 120 people that were surveyed and the 111 that liked at least one of the two gives me the 9 for region 4. So that's the Venn diagram I'm going to use for 12. Now I'll answer my questions. Part A, how many liked only regular? That's the non-overlapping part of the regular circle, which would be those 39. How many liked only mint? That's going to be the non-overlapping part of the mint circle, which is those 27. How many liked exactly one of the two? That means they liked one but not the other. That's those 39 plus those 27. The 39 that liked regular but not mint. The 27 that liked mint but not regular. That gives me 66. So the answer to part D is going to be 66. So the last thing you're going to need to do for this part of the video is problem 13. And then we're going to move on to the monstrous, much harder 3-circle Venn diagrams. And for 13, for your answer, for what it's worth, this is the answer that I have written down for problem 13. So maybe give it a go and see what you can do about coming up with that for an answer. And then we're going to move on to a part 3, which is the 3-circle Venn diagrams, and those are just a lot harder. So be really comfortable with the first 2 sections or first 2 parts of this section before you move on to the next part.